Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video. Well, Happy New Year! 2026 is here, and I'm starting off on the first work day of the year, and you're going to get a chance to see some really beautiful sunrise, and we're going to do a grand tour around the full site today, just to kind of give you an idea of where we're starting the year from. And also, if you haven't seen it before, just the expanse and the size of the entire property that is here at Giga Texas, and also kind of get an idea of how much of it is actually under construction versus how much more could be expanded. And speaking of which, we know that this year is going to be a year of expansion for the factory. Not only are we going to get the construction of the new Optimus standalone factory that is designed to produce 10 million Optimus robots per year. That work is starting now, and it began maybe about a month or so ago. That's going to continue all throughout the year. Now, we've also heard about maybe a terafab to build some chips. I do not know if that's going to come here to Giga Texas or not, but with my grand tour, my point that I want to show you is just how much land is available. And of course, we have that interesting development up at the far north where they're doing some clearing in that large field. Previously, we've seen soil test sampling. They've been clearing up a lot of debris, a lot of equipment, and preparing that for what looks like maybe some construction. So a lot to look forward to. Of course, Cybercab production is this year. It's scheduled for April to begin. That would be the start of production. We're already starting to see indications from Tesla about the fact that the production line is pretty close to being operational. We see today some more equipment being delivered, but all in all, I think that they are on track for that. Of course, there's a lot of other developments going on that we'll talk about throughout the year, and I'll mention some of those in the main video. As far as production, just a reminder, there's no production this week. Next week, starting on Monday the 5th, the general assembly workers will begin to arrive, but I don't expect any production on Monday. On Tuesday, the full shift will be here, and we'll probably start seeing some initial reviving of the production and gearing up for what is supposed to be a tremendous year. So no production today. We'll see a little bit next week, and then we'll be well into the year. So without further ado, let's get in the drone, let's fly around and see how 2026 is beginning here at Giga Texas. If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, Happy New Year from Giga Texas, the first sunrise that I have captured of the year. Of course, we're on the southwest side looking all the way back towards the main factory over the contractor parking, the material staging yards, the west warehouse on wheels, and the end of line and outbound lot. Now I'm going to continue to fly all the way around doing a grand tour today just to kind of give you the idea and set the stage for all of what's going to be happening this year. Now, in the middle of the screen is the Colorado River. We're heading south of that. So the Giga Texas property is to the north of the Colorado River, but I'm coming down here because I want to show you some of the satellite kind of construction that is going on to support the growing industrial base in this area of Austin, much of which was started with Giga Texas. Now below us is an apartment complex that is quadrupling in its original size. You can see the kind of the slabs being set out and prepared for more of the apartments. There's even more earthwork being done between these new roads and State Highway 130. And off the screen to the right is some industrial buildings that are also under construction. And that is all part of this growing economy that is starting up here, and of course Giga Texas in the middle of all of this. Now at the bottom center of the screen is the southernmost caisson. This is part of the water intercept system that's being put in to support the growth that is expected throughout this entire area, some of which I just showed you. As we go over to the east side of the highway, I wanted to continue this look from this vantage point looking to the north where Giga Texas is located. Great view of that south glassed-in wall, kind of what it would look like if you were driving along the highway. And below us is kind of fields and trees that are part of a energy plant, which is the Sandhill Energy Plant, which you can see coming up on the upper right of the screen. This is one of the power plants that supports this entire area, some of which its output goes to Giga Texas. And of course, we know that with the power demands of the factory and the data centers growing, the city of Austin and Austin Electric have been adding in more capability around the region to support this and the general growth that is going on. Coming off to the right and into our view is the water treatment plant. This is also supporting the region and Giga Texas. It's being expanded. You can see some of that work on the kind of center top of the screen where they're adding in more of these circular basins. There's been a lot of infrastructure added in over the last few years, and that is continuing as not only Giga Texas is growing, but the region is too, as a lot of businesses, economical development, housing, and a lot more are coming to this area. Now below us with this field with kind of the circular rings, this is actually part of a expanded Giga Texas property that was purchased in relation to Elon Musk's trust, and all of this with the horse riding ranch that you can see with that large structure on the left next to the lake. And just beyond the Colorado River is all what's going to be developed as that ecological river park complex that will be open to the public and serve Giga Texas. This lake is part of that whole overall process and what will be open to the public. And you can just imagine at some point maybe there will be rental boats, maybe picnic areas, and just a lot of people enjoying this location. And within the background, you can see the Giga Texas main factory, that whole east side that we are relatively familiar with, the parking garage, and then the top of the screen, downtown Austin. With this lighting and view gives us a really great kind of perspective of where all of this is located. Now coming into view on the right where this dirt road goes over towards that cell tower, this has been a part of the area that over the last few years there's been discussion of some development related to Giga Texas. What that is, I do not know. I haven't really seen much, although I have noticed that there's a trailer at the bottom left. There's been some work around this tower, and the roadway has been improved over the last couple of years, leading through the trees next to the Colorado River and by the large pond. So we'll continue to monitor all of this. Where you see the trees along Colorado River is all part of that river part, our ecological park that is being added in. We just saw where they're doing that clearing for the ground at the south end of the east, what they call the East Support Facility or logistics lot, and that will be continued to develop over time. We're passing the cathode plant, the die shop, and Cortex 2, following the Colorado River up to the north, and we're going to continue this to kind of look at part of the site that I don't normally get a chance to see, and we're going to go to the extreme far north today. Now, all of this tree line here is eventually going to be developed. A portion on the south outside of the view of the drone is going to be part of that river park, but the rest of this is going to be developed for some new purposes. And what that is, I'm not really sure, but I will point out some of the changes that are happening with this large field coming into view. Now, I normally call this the lone tree field, and you can see right in the middle of the tree, but what is different, I'll put an arrow here, is they put a fence around it, so clearly they are intending to keep it. On the ground, you can see what looks to be soil sample drilling, and that's all throughout this location. In this large field and the one that you see on the top left have all had those soil sample drillings undertaken over the last couple of years. And that, along with clearing and other things that we're going to be seeing, suggests that we will have some construction in this part of the site. Now I'm going to continue farther to the north. We're going to be following along Linden Road, which is what you see in the middle of the screen. On the right is a school that is just outside of Giga Texas's property. Linden Road here is pretty much following along much of the property, although Giga Texas actually extends a little bit farther to the north, and I will show you that here momentarily. I wanted to take this moment and look back towards the main factory across all of these large fields where we've seen that soil sampling being done. We've also seen cleaning up of the large field in the center of the screen, and of course the rental equipment lot on the left. And as I continue to pull away, we're going to follow Linden Road to the north. And again, we're right now flying over all of Giga Texas's property, both on the left and the right side of Linden Avenue. And as I continue to pull away even more, you're going to see pretty much the northernmost boundary of Giga Texas. And in the extreme distance, several miles away, is the main factory and some of the sites that we visited. As I continue to fly further to the north, we'll kind of just show you what all is involved with the land and the property that is available. The gas station on the bottom right is just outside of Giga Texas, but the rest of the land that you see in the entire screen is what is available for Tesla to build on. And we talk about maybe that terafab that was mentioned at the shareholder meeting. If that is built and Tesla is looking for land, here's a lot of land that is available. It's already owned, and they're already familiar with building on this site. So that'll be something I'll continue to watch. I do not have any information on whether or not that's going to happen here, but I do have visual indications, which is this large field that has had all of the materials, all of the kind of tree debris removed, all of the underlying concrete slabs that they put up here for mud control over the last several years. Everything has been removed from this part of this field. In this kind of hills, ponds, tree-like area, we have been seeing, and if you look down as we pass over, some work with, looks like roads, also some soil drilling, sampling, and some other work that is sort of preliminary in this area. It makes me think that eventually they're going to fill all of this back in, very similar to what they did with the main factory 5.5 years ago to prepare for construction. As we continue to fly over this field, what we can see is, again, how it's been cleaned up. There's no more debris, no more trash or equipment here. All of the tree debris that has been stored here at the bottom left of the screen has been mulched and removed. And also, as we continue to fly further to the west, you can see roadways throughout this section of the land, which has up until now been pretty much unimproved, and really no work being done here as well. In the distance, you can see the electrical switchyard that's being doubled in size, the Cortex 2 in the upper left, and the main factory. So I'm going to prepare to fly over the highway, and I'll show you yet another part of Giga Texas. All of these linear hills and valleys are part of Giga Texas as well. So they have this large section of property to the west of State Highway 130. If you look at the bottom, there is some work in this larger valley. It looks like it's maybe a little bit old, so it's not immediate, but there is tire tracks and what looks like gravel at the bottom of that large that valley. So that, along with what we're seeing here in front of the drone, could eventually be used as well. And it is large enough for the factory to fit on this land between Farm to Market 973 on the right and State Highway 130 on the left. So that is yet another option if Tesla wants to do some additional construction. As we approach into this field, this green field, and also the Lone Star asphalt and concrete plant that is coming into view. This is not part of Giga Texas directly, although there are parts of the property line that run along 130 off to the left. In the upper right, you can see sort of those hills and valleys on the right-hand side of the roadway. That is actually still part of Giga Texas, so it kind of wraps around this Lone Star asphalt and concrete fabrication facility that we see at the center bottom left of the screen. And then, of course, as we get close to Tesla Road, you can start seeing many of the familiar sites that I show you often. This large field in the upper right is also part of Giga Texas, as is pretty much everything that we see here on both sides of the highway looking back at the main factory. So I'm kind of having a little bit of trouble with the sun banding through the propellers, so I'm going to reposition the drone. We'll remove, or we'll turn on the video here on this side of the highway. And with a little bit of better lighting, I decided I'm going to give you a closer in tour of what's going on with the electrical switchyard and Cortex 2 today, so that we can just get caught up after the last few days over the New Year's holiday. So as you can see, there is work that is going on here on this Friday, the first work week of the new year. And even though production is not happening, which, as I mentioned, the intro will begin next week to ramp back up again, construction is definitely continuing as they continue to work on Cortex 2 and the supporting infrastructure to get this facility up and running. I would expect to see the initial operation of this facility probably sometime in the summer to late summer. So they still have a lot of work to go. And it's not just the structure and the infrastructure that supports it, but it's all of the cabinetry equipment, the computers, and getting the those connected, the chiller system connected up and tested. So a lot more remains. The bottom of the screen, well lit. You can see the dots on the ground. This is where more of those piles have been installed. So I expect to see more construction in this location. It may be related to the chiller plant. Speaking of which, the next section is underway right now on the left, and I will show you a closer view of that momentarily. Before we get there, I wanted to show you the framing in of the two receiving doors with the load levelers going on right now. Some of the rebar cages that are being manufactured. This is to support the second part of the cooling system. And here is a great view of some of the work underway right now, building in more of those heavily reinforced concrete bunkers or manifold holding sections, similar to what we see with the first part of the chiller plant. And I suspect if this is a duplicate, we're going to see at least 4 of the large pipes vertically into this these structures they're building, and then bending towards the main walls, and then more of the plumbing work coming through to this raised section where the crane is right now. And you can see some excavation work underway too. I would expect to see some more forms and preparation for walls, and nearly being a duplicate to what we see here coming into view. Now, speaking of which, we see work on the transformers and electrical equipment on the raised pedestal on the right-hand side of the screen. And in the center, I'll zoom in, as those are those kind of boxed-in structures that hold those large pipes that we talked about with the new construction, and I expect it to be very similar to what we're seeing here. Of course, the concrete has been poured, dividing this new section into 6 main parts. And there's work here on the south end, another pump truck getting ready to be employed to pour some of the concrete on what you see between this structure and the wall of Cortex 2. You can see that framed in section with the rebar, and I expect that's where the concrete's going to pour today. As I zoom back out, this gives you a great perspective of this entire east side and a sense of what we're going to be seeing with that construction, where that large crane is, as they kind of duplicate what we see now and continue the cooling system construction. Here on the south end, we can see those forms at the bottom of the screen that will most likely be used for the wall sections of that new construction site. Some more excavation work that's on the south end. And as I wrap around the wall, give you a closer view of what is going on with all the transformers and electronic cabinets on these platforms, the raised scaffolding on the side of the walls for the cables and the conduit. And on the bottom of the screen, the screw type piers. And based on a new permit that I saw, and also the fact that the second mega pack is now listed as the Gigafactory Texas Center Data Center, that would suggest that we're going to see more mega packs being installed here along this side of Cortex 2. I will keep watching that and we'll find out for sure, but I think that's what's going to happen. With all of these trenches, we see preparation for more of those screw type piers, platforms, and transformers along this part of the factory. So lots to be constructed and lots to be watching for the rest of the this new year, as they get Cortex 2 ready to go. This is a nice view across the workshops, workers arriving to begin the workday at the time of my flight. And as I kind of pan back to the south, more of these excavations throughout this area. And coming into view on the left will be more of the screw type piers stored, ready to be installed. This gives you an idea of how many more are left. And of course, the trailers that will be eventually relocated. At the south end of the new expansion of the electrical switch yard, see more preparations for pulling cable through the conduit underway today. And of course, the connecting tunnel that has conduit between the original and now the new underground vault with all of the control trailers is getting some work today as well. We can also get kind of a sense of the assembly that is still required on this electrical switch yard expansion. And a lot of the supplies are on the ground next to the perimeter fence for all of that steel erection, which will finish up the expansion. So that'll be it for my first flight of 2026. As I bring the drone up to a higher altitude, just give you a bird's eye view of all of the areas that we visited, and also to put into perspective what all we will be seeing throughout the year. As always, thank you for your support all through last year, and I look forward to sharing more this year with you. Take care.